Okay, I'm out here in Waiheke Island, New Zealand. Woo! And I wanted to make two videos. This is the first, and this one is all about how, like, getting a job as a designer or creative in Australia. And I guess my one is my own experience as a digital designer and getting a job in Sydney, but you can apply these principles anywhere. But I feel like coming from the UK, we have this opportunity where you have a working holiday visa and you can work in Australia easily. And especially like as a designer, people had told me that when you have design experience in London, it's easier to get a job in other parts of the world, such as Australia. So this is me 1 year on from when I first decided to like try this out. So this is my experience, my notes to you. So basically, getting a design job in Sydney, Australia. So you're gonna do it through a working holiday visa, which means you can't take a full-time role. You can only take like a freelance role that can't last longer than 6 months, which also means that unless you want to like migrate properly, you want to do it like me, you're going to have to come here first and then get a job when you get here. So the first way to start is like start with your own network and contacts. So what I did was, before I left my agency in London, I asked around people who had contacts in Sydney, Melbourne or Australia, who'd worked there, just by word of mouth, before I even left, saying like, this is my kind of ambition, and do you know anyone that works there, and getting their advice. People had done this working holiday visa before. Designers I knew in London worked in Australia. So that's where I started. Even when I left, I put out in my like leaving email, if anyone has any contacts in Australia, let me know. And even on LinkedIn and Instagram and everything, and lovely people had put me in touch with their friends, their contacts. And you shouldn't ask for much. Like, you're not asking for a job, you're just asking for an introduction, for like taking someone out for a coffee or a beer or maybe a glass of wine. And yeah, just as an introduction to this new city that you're going to go into. Another thing that I want to say is, like, don't compare yourself to me, because I'm coming in with like years of experience and years of London experience, which gives me an advantage. So if you're just starting off and you don't have 1 year's experience yet, it's going to be hard. Like, you have to establish yourself just like everyone else. So if you're in London, like, get like 1 or 2 years under your belt in London and then come to Australia. Okay, another thing, so first you're going to go through your contacts. Another one to go through is recruiters. So your contacts might be recruiters, but start by Googling digital design recruiters Melbourne or Sydney or wherever you're going to be, or whatever your industry is, and maybe send them an email in advance. Obviously this is on the assumption you have your sick portfolio and CV ready, but yeah, make a sick portfolio and CV and send these out to recruiters. And don't just ask them for a job. Introduce yourself and say that you're coming to that city at this date and let's have a coffee or something like that. The coffee is the best way to get started, so try that out. Yeah, basically build up your network. Start speaking to recruiters. Some recruiters might save you and give you cool jobs. Some might tell you they'll do that and it just won't come through in the time frame that you need. So like, it's not to say that this is going to be the answer to your problems, but it's like one of the routes that you should go through. Another one is like research studios and agencies yourself. So you might just start by Googling graphic design studio Melbourne, Digital Design Studio Melbourne, Social Media Agency Melbourne. Like, these are the things that you, whatever's your industry that you're doing. I found like there's certain designers and places that have like directories. So like, I'm a digital designer, so like awards.com or siteinspire.com, you can click on the directory and it lists all the companies that have like won awards, and it says where they're from, whether it's Australia or it might say the city specifically. There's a designer called Gabby Lord, and she also has a directory of like studios and agencies that she likes, that she recommends. So go through those. There's also other websites like, I think, theloop.com.au, which is like a place where you upload your portfolio and things like that. And basically, the point to all this is, don't come to Australia like with this big expectation you're going to get a job straight away. Have your money for like a couple months to just pay your rent and enjoy and have a bit of a holiday and stuff like that. But begin with just introductions like coffees, through your recruiters, through your contacts, through the agencies that you're gonna find yourself. Email them, call them up, say, hey, I'm Francisco, I'm from London, yeah, I'd love to like show you my work and have a coffee. And some people have been really nice just doing that, like come for a coffee, they tell me what they've been doing, I show them what they've been working on. I remember one company was like, when I got there I realised there's only like 5 people in this company, so they weren't really hiring, but they were lovely enough to give me their time, and they were like, if you want to like come and use our office space just for the Wi-Fi and stuff, like bring your laptop here and stuff, you're more than welcome. So that's pretty nice. Like but yeah, my tip is to not email people asking for a job, because you might get shut down very early on, but just treat it as an exercise of like emailing people, asking them to go for a coffee, and then you make a connection, and that person might recommend you to someone else, that person might have a project available at the time for you. And the final tip is how I got my job is through Facebook. Someone recommended me this Facebook group, Find a Freelance. Find a find it, wait. I know it as Find a Freelancer, but it's like Find a Fees Global. I'll type it up and I'll write it up. And you actually have to be, it's a secret group, you have to be invited by someone in the group. But basically on that website, on that Facebook group, people are sharing like immediate job adverts. Oh, we need an animator for a 2-week job. Can you start ASAP? We're looking, or people post their portfolio. I'm a production designer. I can do After Effects, blah, blah, blah. I'm looking for work. And it's just this network of people posting jobs and posting like their skills. And I posted on there, and I got like 2 job interviews, one in Melbourne, one in Sydney. And like, I wasn't planning on working in Sydney, I was in Melbourne at the time, and I had a Skype interview, and I got offered this amazing opportunity that included lovely travel and stuff. But yeah, you know what, Facebook is a good platform. When you come to Sydney, you'll be finding your house through Facebook, your room to share. There's a Facebook group called Make Friends in Sydney on Facebook. So yeah, Facebook's a good platform. And one thing that I'd say that I've written in my notes is like being available at the right time, right place. So if I'd stayed in my job in London and looked for work and asked around and got a job and then came to Australia, I wouldn't have this epic opportunity that I had. I would have probably a safe job, maybe in a bank or something, and it would just I don't know, like this particular opportunity, the company had a designer at the time that had this big project in Abu Dhabi, and the designer had left a few weeks before. And if I was in London, if I wasn't available immediately, when they asked me are you available? I just had an Airbnb in Melbourne, and I hadn't yet committed to anything in Melbourne, so it was perfect. My portfolio matched their skills, and my availability matched what they needed. Like, because how many other people can just jump on a plane to Abu Dhabi? Like, you know, if you've got a relationship or you've got rent in Melbourne or whatever it is, you're not going to be able to move. So I guess they say, like, take risks and get the rewards. And so yeah, that's my journey. And what I can say, that, like, my advice to you guys is, like, save up. Don't come here like expectation you're gonna get a job straight away. Like, save up, treat it like you're a new creative in this new city, and you want to learn, and you want to meet new people, and you want to go to, like, meetups and networking events, and you want to just go for beers with people and go for coffees. And, like, it's better to do it once you're here than when you're back home. Just make sure you've got your portfolio to represent you as best you can, and then just come here and go for it and meet everyone, and you never know, like, what opportunities will arise. And I would say I had 2 opportunities at the same time, this really cool one in Sydney and a more safe one in Melbourne. And, like, the route I'm on now is actually a different route than I was on before. What I thought I was, like, in my job and stuff, is now I'm doing something way more different. That was previously out of my comfort zone. That is now something I'm comfortable with. And so you think you're on a route right now, but, you know, take a risk and be somewhere you didn't predict. So that's my advice. If you have any questions, message me, and I hope this was helpful. I'm gonna do another video about my general 1 year abroad experience, but yeah, I hope this helped. Thank you, Francisco.